It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Tokwe Makodike. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I cannot believe that it was so easy to drive to the office this morning.
Yes.
This is what life should be like, because there's public holiday and it was just so seamless. So it was a quick ride. The kids are at home. It is eating per second. It is request per second. It is reporting per second. And I feel that every time I want to think about it, I'm like, be grateful. Some people are praying to be disturbed the way you are being disturbed. So count it all joy, you know. But generally, this is a new month and I'm really excited. Countdown to my 40th. It's next month, don't worry, but I am pepper them like that. I'm going to be talking about it because I have a lot to be grateful for. It's been a journey, and sometimes you want to compare yourself. Then people around me clocked 40 this year, and the achievement is phenomenal. And I'm looking at myself like, hey, Tokwe, you never start. Hey, my sister, be grateful. That's what I'm reminding myself. Whenever I see somebody's celebration, I'll say, Tokwe, be grateful. You have a lot to be grateful for. Realign yourself to gratitude.
Fantastic. Love it.
You're looking as
in you are looking fabulous.
Pleasure to be here as always.
I love your outfit.
Love the hair.
Prints, love the turban. You guys are all looking glamorous.
Good to
you
have
bring the glam to the show.
Yeah, we try.
So yesterday I had the very rare, distinct privilege of hosting a breakfast club for Tiffany Amber, the Tiffany Amber brand. And never in my life have I been in a room full of women who just are phenomenal power movers and shakers from all walks, from government, politics, fashion, music, entertainment, just a power-packed. I could feel the steam in the room. And it was a bit overwhelming, to be honest. When I first started out hosting the event, I felt a bit overwhelmed, but I got into the mix of things. Some women before the event started came to me and said, oh, you do well. They held my hand. We trust you. So that kind of, put me at ease. But it was a reminder to me of the fact that as women, as individuals, we're doing so much and so well. And that when we come together, greater things happen. So I was really, truly inspired by this session. It was one on wellness, lifestyle, and self-confidence, and it's just beautiful.
And this is just a start. This is the lowest it's going to be. You're going to get higher.
Yes. From your lips to God's ears.
Just a start. I'm so excited for you. Well done.
Well done.
Amaka Fresh. Freshest of the freshest.
Somebody said to me and said, okay, so I also want to greet Amaka Fresh from me. I say, I know it's actually Amaka.
Amaka Fresh.
The fresh is not your son name. That's like
everybody. Amaka Fresh is not my son name.
Fresh.
Thank you so much. I missed you guys.
I missed you too.
Yes, it's this year is my sister's 40th in June.
Wow.
And because she depends on me solely, so much. It's as if it's my 40th again. Like even her wedding, she didn't do nothing.
You said so.
I had to do everything for her wedding. She just came and wore clothes. This 40th is the same thing. She can't do nothing. So I'm the one still planning, doing everything. So like, please, people still wish me happy 40th. How are you, my love? You look good.
I'm doing well. Thank God. I was trying to rest, just like the kids are home, and I had to take them out yesterday. We went to Lagos Island. I don't know what I was looking for. I carried 4 children to Lagos Island.
You'll be chasing them everywhere.
I was holding tired. I wanted them to experience Lagos Island. So we went there, we walked around, bought a few things. It's just nice to get them. They were just like, oh, don't touch me. Calm down. This is where your mother is my village. Everywhere here is my village. So please, your home. Respect is home. So we did that and we took them out. And they had a great time. So today, no go anywhere. Stay in the house. Rest. All right, let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, we're going to start with The Nation. We're on May 14, more outrage over killings. Fear of renewed hostilities grips Ifon, Ilubu communities. Use $4 trillion assets to attract FDI, NESG, urges federal government. Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso slam 0.5% import levy on Nigeria and others. Sovereign Investment Authority declares 3.7 trillion profit. And picture story here of the Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, sending greetings to his boss, Mr. President. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, so the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, has urged the federal government to unlock the nation's estimated $4 trillion in bankable assets to attract foreign direct investments and drive economic growth. Its Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Taye Aduloju, gave the advice in Abuja during the launch of the group's 2025 macroeconomic outlook report. He stated that Nigeria holds significant investment potential, but legal, regulatory, and policy constraints continue to obstruct economic opportunities. He also stated that it's important that, you know, that in terms of FDI, that Nigeria sits on 4 trillion worth of assets that are bankable, but that the gridlock by legal and regulatory policies is causing a bottleneck around that. So he's stating that Nigeria's strategic sovereignty and autonomy depend on returning to 5.5% or 6% GDP growth rates, and that this would also enable investors to come in, attract investors to come in if we can de-risk the national assets that we have. So I think he's making a point, but I think that's still a long haul to go get back to 5.5 or 6% GDP per capita. But let's see, miracles happen.
All right, so I have the story concerning revenue-generating agencies owing the federal government about 9.3 trillion naira. Now, this was said by the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. They made this disclosure in their 2023 industry report, which was highlighting financial discrepancies in the nation's extractive sector. Now, according to its executive secretary, Oji Obunaya Oji, who spoke at a press briefing on the implementation of the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative in Nigeria, he said the unremitted funds actually accounts for approximately 72% of the projected 13 trillion budget deficit for 2025, underscoring the urgent need for accountability in revenue collection. Although these figures represent a decline from the 2021 report, NEITI noted that the outstanding obligations remain a critical concern given the government's budgetary needs for 2025. So here we are crying and saying the budget isn't enough, and revenue generating agencies aren't remitting what they should. And so it's a tough situation to be in, and we continue to look for funds as a nation.
So the Chief of Staff has greeted his boss, saying, he said quite a bit of things, greeting for his 73rd birthday celebration, and one of the things that caught my attention was where he said that too many people who participate in public service are not there to make history, but to be where history is made, standing as observers, to chronicle and ridicule, and ultimately to fade into obscurity. Indeed, you personify the marked difference between a politician who only thinks about the next election, but actually a leader who thinks about the next generation. And he was just greeting him on his 73rd birthday, wishing him the best, and saying that he has expressed himself excellently, and he has provided diligent service to the highest good, for the highest good. And he said quite a bit of things, but a lot of people were celebrating the president over the weekend for his birthday, 73rd birthday, and lots of accolades to him, and congratulations again to Mr. President for his 73rd birthday party.
Yeah. So I have the story about the coalition that has broken away from ECOWAS. So they call themselves Alliance of Sahel States. That's Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. They all are being ruled by the military, and the military junta there first created this coalition to sort of like support each other in fighting insecurity, but now they are morphing it into an economic bloc. They are sort of like saying they might be considering having a unified passport among the Alliance for Sahel States, and they have placed a tariff. In the world of tariff, American president has started tariff, so they now put a 0.5% tariff on all import duties, even within ECOWAS. Usually, goods and services move in and out within the ECOWAS space. They broke away from ECOWAS, but the ECOWAS system has still honored their passport and all of that. Now, they said that any goods, service, anything, any imported product, now we are imported products. Any product moving from Nigeria, other countries in the ECOWAS, to these 3 countries, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, will also be taxed 0.5% as a way to fund their coalition, their alliance. That's the reason for that thing. They also have, Niger has also pulled out from the joint force. So there's a particular joint military force that has been supporting Nigeria's fight within that Lake Chad region. They call it the Military Joint Task Force. It also includes international support. But Niger has pulled out, and we know that there's been a lot of insecurity challenges of Boko Haram and ISWAP between the Lake Chad into Borno East. So we are saying, they're saying now that it's going to be even more at risk when Niger, who is the landmass that handles this thing, are now pulling out from the military joint force. This is going to have impact.
More headache for our president.
But ECOWAS said they are open to conversation, which is a good thing.
Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Smile. Change no thanks into yes please.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Punch. Low-key celebrations as Nigerians lament hardship. 32-year-old Nigerian declared missing by Canadian police. Communal clashes. Adeleke threatens to depose 3 monarchs. Excuse me. Late Adebanjo's made obese 2023 Lagos victory possible, says Abure. Naira for crude. FG Dangote set for talks as refinery imports 12.6 million barrels. Natasha's recall, INEC may conduct referendum in 90 days. Lagos, Kano lead as 117 million Nigerians get NIN. Lynch travelers, governor demands public parade, 14 suspects moved to Abuja. Okay, story.
So the communal clash happening in Osun State, it's been ongoing for a while. And the Osun State governor has read out the riot act on the people. He said, especially the community leaders. He said that the community leaders of Ilubu, Ifon, and Eriosun, that he's threatening to remove the traditional rulers who have failed to maintain peace in their domain. That they've heard that there are some moves immediately after Salah that there would be some clash within those areas. Anyone found out that they would remove the traditional rulers. I think it is a wise move because the traditional rulers have authority and we do not need to lose lives over whatever is happening within those communities. Should they manage to live together peacefully? And they said they've relaxed the 24-hour curfew within that area into 17 hours. But even within that, there must be peace maintained. The security operatives are on alert within that area. So we're expecting that nothing will go wrong.
So update on Natasha. So the fate of the Senator Natasha Udoha, representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, will be determined within the next 90 days, according to Punch. They said constituents from her senatorial district had last week submitted a recall petition against her to INEC. And INEC is currently in the process of verifying the names and signatures submitted by these petitioners. To proceed with recall, the petition must be signed by more than half of the registered voters in the Kogi Central District. So in this requirement, if this is met, the Commission will conduct a referendum in 90 days, according to INEC detailed regulations and guidelines for recall of 2024. If the petition reaches the necessary threshold of support, the Commission will issue a public notice detailing the time, date, and location of the referendum. So this is probably going to be the first experience in my own lifetime. If this is possible, we'll see how that goes. I'm really wishing the people of Kogi the best, because in either way, they are the ones going to win or lose in this matter.
Yes. So the Toronto Police Service has reported a Canadian-based Nigerian man identified as Omotayo as missing. He's 32 years old and was last seen on March 25th, 2025. He was last seen around the Trafalgar Road and Dundas Street East area in Oakville. They said he was last seen wearing a tan essentials hoodie, black Nike track pants, a tan Yeezy slides, and black frame glasses. The police has urged anybody that sees him anywhere around that they should come forward, because something similar had happened recently with a 34-year-old Nigerian man who they were looking for, and then they now found him in a lake somewhere in British Columbia in Canada. So they don't want the same thing to happen. So they are begging that if anybody sees anything or sees someone like him anywhere, because of maybe suicide rates and stuff, please contact the police. Yes.
The other one too was suicide.
They don't know what happened. They are still working on it, but they feel it's something like that.
Okay, we have to wrap up very quickly on today's. Do you have any on Daily Sun?
Yeah, I have the story concerning a community pharmacist who are now seeking a 50 million naira fine and 20-year jail term for drug counterfeiters. So the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria have called for the immediate and uncompromising action against the nation's rampant illegal drug market, labeling those involved as merchants of death. Now, they're saying that even though there's quite some regulatory actions that have been imposed by the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, PCN, NAFDAC, and CWCs, that it's not enough, even though the stakeholders are actually doing a lot to give hope that soon the drug industry will be normalized. However, these efforts are not sufficient because the lives of Nigerians are at stake, and I absolutely agree. We need to impose stiffer sanctions on those who are found culpable when it comes to counterfeit drugs. So these are killing people's kidneys and vital organs.
Final paper, Daily Sun. Leaders intensify peace moves as ACF hails Tinubu. Governor threatens to dethrone monarchs of warring Osun communities. I didn't direct protests against the Bonny Federal University Teaching Hospital, says Umahi. Nigerians borrow 470 billion naira from banks as the economy bites harder. Ex-Enugu LP Guba candidate Idioga returns to PDP and extols Mba's leadership. These politicians, eh? Rivers will emerge stronger from political crisis, says Fubara. And 2027 PDP dares Tinubu, says nobody can manipulate Nigerians. Let me take suspended Rivers State Governor Fubara's story, where he has assured residents that the ongoing political crisis would ultimately strengthen people rather than weaken them. He spoke when he received Muslim leaders from 20 Islamic-based groups, including the Supreme Council Islamic Affairs, at his private residence in Port Harcourt during the Eid al-Fitr visit. Addressing the delegation, Fubara urged them as his supporters to trust in God and trust the process. This season is one of love, sharing, and sacrifice, and you have come here to share in our pain and have made a great sacrifice through your prayers. As Christians, we believe that everything happens for a purpose, and I strongly believe that this situation is leading us to a greater purpose. Wishing the best for him.
Quick update on what is happening in what happened in Uromi. So the governor of Edo State has spoken again, reassuring that he has spoken with the president and that the president has the president had expressed worry over the incident and had directed the IGP and relevant security agencies to ensure that the case is discreetly investigated and the suspect attached to court. Well, the governor of Kano also now has asked the governor of Edo State to parade these suspects, that they must parade them and the case should be taken to court immediately. Now, the thing is, it happened just before the festive season and there's been holiday all through. So hopefully by tomorrow they'll be going to court. But the governor has expressed that his heartfelt condolences to the family, and the governor of Kano has asked that compensation be paid to the family of the hunters, and both parties are seemingly working together to ensure that the tension is doused. So I'm hoping that tomorrow there will be a parade of the suspects and they'll be charged to court. That way, those in Kano that are agitating that there must be something done to justice needs to be done would find peace in that process. But once again, our heart goes out to the families of all the hunters who lost their lives in such a gruesome way. Very
painful. We have to run up very quickly, but it's important for me to just read the headlines. We might not take it, of Vanguard. So, Uromi residents desert towns over fears of reprisal and arrest. I was offered $5 billion bribe to impeach Fubara, says Chief of Staff Ehie. Would treat people smuggling gangs like terrorists, says UK Prime Minister. CP PDP to Tinubu, forget 2027, Nigerians would reject you. FG to shut Lagos independence bid for 2 months. Organized immigration crime, FG 6 global intelligence sharing. And Petro Dangote refinery resumes loading after payment. Tension in ports as FG moves to sack terminal operators. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on front pages this morning. When we come back, we bring in our guests, our special feature. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Eje, can you close the show?
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Check it out.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym to get getting fat.
Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
This is. That's why you're still single.
I will not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You scissors. What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.tvcentertainment.com youtube.com/tvcentertainment. Join the fun.
For me, it's a way of life that brings about merriment, relaxation, and it's happiness. It's everything good put together. Anything at all just to make you happy, give you joy, make you laugh, make you dance. Entertainment is a way of life. What we want.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us to tell us more about the University of Hertfordshire is the Regional Manager, West Africa University of Hertfordshire, Bolanle Drodola, and the Regional Manager, Middle East Africa University of Hertfordshire, Mark Whitfield. Welcome to the show. Good to have you both.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us about the University of Hertfordshire. Want to start, Mark?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So the University of Hertfordshire, one of the leading British universities, located just 25 minutes outside of central London. So the University of Hertfordshire, as one of the leading universities because of its career approach and approach to career development. So the University of Hertfordshire has the highest number of Nigerian students coming to the UK to study. Yeah, absolutely. And we're the first British university to be awarded the King's Award for Enterprise. Okay, and that's because of our focus and commitment to career development. And when I say modern universities, because we're investing massively. Hertfordshire is one of the leading universities for investment in things like engineering, computer science, and then medicine. We're about to become the 44th medical school in the UK next year.
Wow, fantastic.
Nice. Okay, so we definitely know there's going to be an open day coming up
soon.
There is. What are we to expect for the open day?
Okay, so the open day is going to come up on Friday, the 4th of April 2025, and it's at Marriott. What we're expecting is we're bringing amazing lecturers coming from the university. We did this last year and it was really massive. And what we're going to do is we're going to be talking to parents, the students, and everyone that comes in. We're going to assess them, interview them if we can, and then we're going to be giving them so much discounts when they come in. And when I mean discount that is good enough for Nigerians, right? And there's so many things we're going to be talking about on that day. So we're bringing people from the School of Business Engineering, finance, we're bringing nursing. We've never brought someone from the School of Nursing, but we're bringing her in on Friday. She arrives tomorrow and it's going to be really fun and people will get so much things from us at the university.
So for me, people would want to, I'm sure people are curious about the programs and courses that are available at the University of Hertfordshire, so that can you enlighten them on the courses and programs available?
Sure, yeah. So we've got some really amazing new programs that we're going to be launching on Friday here in Nigeria. So first of all, we have our new Master of Research, which is specifically designed for the Nigeria market. So it's going to be business and AI. All right, so massively growing field, massively a field that is just expanding all the time. And then business and media. So two very, very
business
big
and media.
Business and media. But also as well, I think the university is going to be as well discussing some really fantastic new programs such as medicine. Okay, so obviously showcasing that. As Bolanle mentioned, we're bringing out with us academics from the key schools. So these are the professors, the decision makers.
And you get to meet them.
And you get to meet them face to face for a one-to-one.
Fantastic. Nice. So what kind of documents should people bring along with them for the open day?
Okay, so when they're coming, we have different kind of, we have the undergraduate and we have the postgraduate. So we're having people from the undergraduate, they only need to bring their WAEC, their foundation result if they have done foundation in Nigeria, their A-levels result if they have A-levels, or if they have done like an OND, they can bring their OND result to do transfer credit. Now, if they're doing the postgraduate, then they need to bring in their degree result, academic transcript, their references, the biodata page of international passport. They need to write a very good personal statement, which are going to teach them how to write a personal statement on Friday. And that's just about what we need them to bring. Now, there's some people who might not have this document. It's okay for them to still come in with what they have. We can assess them and give them something called a conditional offer, and then we can assess, eventually when they bring the documents, we can give them an unconditional offer.
Okay, yes. So I'm sure people are curious to know what time this open day is going to start, because you're offering a lot, and I'm sure venue, and people are going to want to queue up the time, venue, and then what's the length for the whole open day event?
Okay, so the open day is on the 4th of April 2025. It's a Marriott Hotel in GRA, Ikeja, Lagos. And it's going to be between 11 and 5 p.m. Now, people can come in between this period, between this window, but we encourage people to come in early enough so that they can register as early as 10 a.m. in the morning, so they can register. And one of the things we want to do is, whilst we want them to come in between this time space, we're going to take some sessions, which is how to write a personal statement, visa counseling, which is very essential in getting a visa application. So it's a whole lot. So we're going to be doing breakout sessions. So we especially want parents to be there with their children, so they can also, find out what it is, the process for them to come in.
You've actually answered the question I was going to ask, which is what the people you are expecting at the open day. Who are those people? You mentioned parents. Who else are you expecting at the open day?
Okay, you want to go on?
Sure. I mean, look, the open day is open to everyone. So obviously, parents, prospective students, also as well college principals, and also their teachers. We ran the open day last year and it was really successful. So the open day is open for everyone. But as Moby mentioned, we're also bringing out the academics. So students are going to be having that face-to-face interaction, but also as well, we're going to be doing master classes. So taster sessions, if you like. I think Dr. Genevieve is going to be...
Yeah, so we have a school of study, that's the School of Humanities. They do journalism, and Dr. Genevieve is Nigerian. She's been with the university for a long time, and so she said to us she's going to have like free master classes for students who are willing to attend. Now, the idea is so that they experience what they will feel to be in the university and be taught in class. So that's going to be like a free one for every student that comes in to take a master
So
class.
money matters. People want to know how much discount they're getting, how much is the school fees, what are the options available for sponsorship and stuff like that.
Okay, so our tuition fee for the university is about in the range of 15,965 to about 18,800, depending on what the student wants. If they come for the open day, they get £2,000 off their tuition fee, and you know how much £2,000 equivalent is in Nigeria.
Hope that's not April Fool.
No, they're going to get £2,000. And if students or anyone that wants to pay their fees in full, they get again an extra £1,000 if they pay in full on before the enrollment, which is really, really good for the university. So think about a university where you're getting all of this, and you're only paying as much as just £15,000 after discount. It's a lot of. And for Nigerian students, we have a massive payment flexibility, and it's only exclusive to Nigerian students. And the university is so gracious that they understand the feeling of Nigerians, how it's difficult to make money, the forex and everything. So we've put everything together and we've made it flexible for Nigerian students, and we're going to be telling them about it at the open day. And that's why we're the bestseller. Everybody comes to UH because of this flexibility they get.
So we understand Nigerians.
Yes.
So any other final thing you want to tell us? Numbers, contact, how do we reach you?
Moby.
Yes, so they can reach us on our telephone number on 081-80-227788. They can also send us an email on nigeria@hearts.ac.uk. Heart is spelled HERTS.ac.uk. They can also send us a DM at Nigeria_UH. Nigeria,
yes, it's on the screen.
Underscore UH.
Take a picture of it right now so you don't forget.
If you're interested.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
So much
you the best, and hoping that to be successful on Friday.
Thank you.
April 4th, right?
Yes, April 4th. Yes, April 4th.
That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company, not just in Nigeria, but throughout continental Africa, to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
Okay, that's
I
all
live
we can
Nigeria, but I
take.
choose to stay.
Close the show, you for that long. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer,
you're already almost naked. You're already almost
Thanks for staying with us. So if you live in Lagos State, this segment is for you. Please grab your chair and sit down and listen. In the last few weeks, we've seen viral videos and different posts of alleged designated locations in Lagos where the speed limit cameras have been installed. To be recalled that in February, the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation, in collaboration with Huawei Technology, deployed new intelligent transport system sites to monitor and detect speeding and manage traffic flows, according to the Commissioner of Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiemi. The installations would complement the existing automatic number plate recognition cameras and other traffic management solution devices. Join us on the show to explain better on this is the Commissioner himself, Honorable Oluwaseun Oshiemi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much.
To have you here.
We are very worried because we appreciate that Lagos State is trying to move forward to this mega city. But I don't want to ask what's the reason, but we kind of know the reasons. But okay, what is the objective of the government in trying to deploy these technology across traffic, all the various traffic roads in our state?
Okay, thank you very much and good morning, ladies. I think the first thing I would like to do is clarify where we have these speed limit cameras.
Okay.
Because there's been a lot of stories, so many things in the media space that we need to actually clarify this morning.
Okay.
We have speed limit cameras at 3 locations.
Okay.
One, Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way, that's that Naita Road in Ikeja. Alakpere, and then the 3rd Mainland Bridge. Those are the 3 locations where we have the speed limit cameras. The ITS cameras we're talking about, we have also have in Uluopopo and Allen Junction. Those cameras are meant to do certain things. One, if you jump the red light, reversing onto the highway, lane discipline cameras, that's what those cameras are meant to do. They are not speed limit cameras. Where you have speed limit cameras are 1, Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way,
yes. Bridge.
Alakpere, and then
Alakpere is here now.
Alakpere, yes.
So
we follow all those routes. So the thing is, we are in the line of all 3. But I think that the concern for a lot of Nigerians about the Lagosians about the speed limit camera is how come it seems to affect the private citizens. They don't see how it affects public transport, because we don't think that they seem to drive like they're above the law, and to a large extent they get away with it because they do it back to back and nothing happens. But we, the private citizens, just one day when we are rushing to get to school runs in time, we receive text message the next day that we have done something we should not have done.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, the truth of the matter is, for private citizens, so to say, they are more of the formal sector. It's all about data. We have more data on the private people than the public, which is why you see a lot of infractions being caused by the commercial buses. But of course, we've taken steps to curb and to correct those anomalies. And one of it, the medium and long-term step we've taken is the bus reform initiative. The bus reform initiative is one that, of course, involves also registering all those commercial buses so we can have the data in place. And once we do that, and I'll give you a very good example. In the formal sector, in public transportation, where you have your BRTs and all, they are registered with Lamata, an agency of Ministry of Transportation. If they commit an infraction, all you need to do is just pick their number and send to us, and we'll fish them out in 2 seconds. But we don't have that same data for the informal sector, which is what we're trying to do. So what data will do is it would give us the ability to be able to, 1, pick people up when they're infractions, and also be able to create more sanity on our road.
Okay, so are there indicators for this speed limit cameras, like on the road, so that the motorists can actually see that on 3rd Mainland Bridge, when you're getting on or getting off, or at the different points, that you should not exceed the setting limit? Because, you know, Nigerians, Nigerians, allegedly, they say Nigerians don't read. So are there indicators to tell people what to do and what not to do?
Oh, yes, there are signages. There are speed limit signages all over, you know. And what international standard practice says is that you must have a minimum of, there mustn't be more than 800 meters between those signages. Okay. It mustn't exceed 800 meters. So if you have a 4-kilometer road, for example, it means you must have minimum 5 speed limit signages. You know, so there are signages that will, of course, say to you that, oh, for this corridor, you must not exceed a particular speed limit. If it's 80, for example, it means you shouldn't do more than 80. You can do below 80, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So really, those signages are meant to, of course, inform you and show you that, look, this corridor, you need to slow down, calm down, and do not exceed this limit. And it's done worldwide.
Okay, so I'm just here wondering, because according to information, the ITS system is supposed to complement already existing automatic number plates and recognition cameras and the like. So have there been processes where we've test run all of this as a comprehensive whole to see its workability? And do you think that going forward, we will see expansion into probably other routes across Lagos?
Oh, yes. The ANPR camera they were talking about has been around for over 2 years now. That's the one that speaks to your road safety, your roadworthiness, your expired insurance, vehicle licenses. If it's not done and the camera captures your plate number, what it does is sends a text message to you saying, oh, you have a fine because you've not renewed your papers. You know, it's just an update and to complement what we have on ground. You know, that's what the ITS is for. And also the ITS camera is meant for also data gathering, so that as a ministry we can go back and plan infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, and also how to plan routing on our roads. So yes, they are there, they've been there, and the ITS solution is just meant to complement. The speed limit cameras that we see now are the new ones, and we're going to replicate all over Lagos over time.
Okay, because I wanted to say it seems to be some people that are getting the hits. Other people are not getting that Lekki axis. They also drive like
that. That's the expressway.
No, well, that's that road. But I wanted to ask, because when you drive abroad, if you use like all these Waze app, they'll tell you speed limits, speed camera, approaching the speed camera, police at this junction.
It beeps.
Are we? Yes. Are we? Do we have that here as well? That you would get that information that there's a speed limit camera or integrated into Google or all those?
Yes, you will get that. And interestingly, we just launched an app, My Lagos app.
Okay.
On that app, you have yes. On that app, you have like your Waze or your Google map. It will show you, you can pick directions, it can show you to where you're going. But the beauty of that is that it would also pop up. If, for instance, there's an accident in front, it would indicate and tell you exactly what's going on, so you can reroute your ways.
I
mean,
so I've heard about Lagos app. I wasn't really sure what it was about. I heard about it, but we didn't get enough information. So just give us a rundown a bit of what the app is.
My Lagos app is an app, of course, for Lagos State, which speaks to a lot of things that we do, from transportation to tourism, to information from maybe Ministry of Environment, you know, and then we also get feedback on that app. It's a one-stop shop where you can get all of what you want. Remember what happened in December, the 30th December? People coming back, not knowing exactly where to go, you know.
So the app will tell you where the party's at.
Absolutely. The spots to go, where the kind of hotels you can pick. It would even tell you, give you a calendar of what's going to happen from...
Fantastic. That's good. There was a question in my head concerning the speed limit. So now, if I drive 120 and the camera picks it up, what happens?
So the camera picks or sends it back to the back office, and then the back office processes and sends it to you.
Is that like for real?
Oh, yes.
I'm not got to, I did 100 the other day. Nothing happened.
Where did you do that?
On Terminal Bridge.
So, but is it realistic to ask us to drive?
They take the picture. They took a picture of my car, the way it happened, everything.
Okay, so on Third Mainland Bridge, I need to speak to you about that. Presently, you know, Third Mainland is a federal road within the states. So FRC did set the 80 kilometers per hour limit, but we've reviewed it and we've said it's a bit slow. It's also not safe to drive.
That's slow.
So there's a review and it will be upgraded to 100.
Thank you.
Much better, because that 80 will make sense.
I was just, because I felt like it wasn't, because you feel like you're crawling whenever
I agree.
That, especially when the road is free. And when there's no traffic, you would want to take advantage of the road. But there are other things apart from that is happening to Lagos transport system that is aside from the, I don't know if we can ask questions, because for me, I feel that the conversation around our informal transportation system is very slow in implement. We're not implementing anything, and we've been at this conversation, at least on this show, for over 12 years, as in about 12 years, discussing the issues with the informal transport sector. And there's NUWRT, and every driver is registered. There is money being collected as charges, levies from these drivers. So how come we are unable to get them to understand that they are in a state and they must obey the rules? Because they are the menace that we're facing. Everywhere you see traffic, you would see either the yellow bus or the ones that are white. Even when you paint them white, as long as the human beings, the Korokways, they drive like they're driving Okada. They cause traffic everywhere. And as amazing as this initiative that Lagos is putting together, the governor is doing a lot of good things, but you have this group of people that will not make it work. You will see it. Okay. So what exactly, when do we expect to see something tangible, and what exactly are you doing as a commissioner to address those things?
Okay, thank you. I mean, it's the big elephant in the room. And I must say to you that conversations, like you've said, have been ongoing for quite some time. And then picking up this data. Data does a lot of stuff, and it helps in a lot of ways. Picking up this data, I think over the years, the ball was actually dropped. Some of these vehicles were not registered. And now, like I mentioned, the bus reform initiative, what it does, and I'll say to you, we can't even do it all across the state all at once. So we're using the Lekki corridor as a pilot run. And trust me, this started in September. So we had to engage a lot of stakeholders, especially the NURT people, and we said to them, look, you need to bring your people into clusters and bring them as cooperative, minimum of 50 buses per cluster, such that we know that this so and so person is responsible for this cluster. Register all of those 50 buses. The Korokways that you see on the express road, they are not going to be there anymore. We're taking them off completely.
Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that.
They are going to be in feeder roads. They're not meant to be on the express. We're taking them out completely.
Because they drive like Okada.
Yes, I agree. So, but they will be feeder roads. They won't be on the express. But of course, we're doing a lot of registration. We're doing a lot of inspection, because the vehicles that should fly those roads must be safe for people to get it. So our own VIS, which is the inspection unit, is currently doing the inspection for all of those vehicles to certify them well to be on the road.
Just to piggyback from what you've said, so if we're taking up the corporate buses, we have to be putting something in place to cater to the volume of people, commuters who have to move around on a daily basis. So are we going to do some improvement to the BRT systems maybe? Can we expect any more rail lines? Because I know that the red rail line and all of those, will we see improvement in those regards, just to cater to our transport systems better in Lagos?
Thank you. So a lot of data gathering was done, and we did get information on how many buses do you actually need for this corridor. So that speaks to, okay, one, we are also going to increase the high capacity buses plying those roads, which means the BRT buses will be deployed onto those roads. And the medium capacity buses that will support them also would be inspected and will also ply those roads. Good thing you said, coming soon on that corridor is a green line. The green line will start from Marina all the way to Lekki Free Trade Zone. It's a project that will kick off, God willing, this year, fully backed up by federal government. You know, so you have the green line coming down that corridor. We have the BRI, and then of course, improvement of road infrastructure. So we expect that all things being equal, with all of those things we put in, there'll be serious changes.
Okay, good to hear. So what's the legal framework you guys have put in place for people that do not want to pay the fine, or people that want to contest the fine?
Okay, the Transport Sector Reform Law of 2018, of course, is a legal framework backing us to be able to, of course, create speed limits and also give fines. And also you have a window of 15 to 30 days to contest those fines, which is why we have a back office for every infraction that is being caused on the road. We have a video and a picture of it, so that when you come complain, we show you your car, the video, we show you, we can even show you the person driving the car. There are AI cameras. So your case must be
Lagos has to work.
Just go back to the good old days.
No, I played number the area. I said, okay.
let me give you an example. Somebody was not in town And then his driver took his car out and all. And then there was, in fact, he got a text message. And he said, no way, I'm not his blah, blah, blah. And we sent it to him. And then he found out there was a driver that was actually driving the car.
Wow. Please, I want to ask another elephant in the room question. So, who is responsible for, these are public transport people, these are buses, these informal but major transportation vehicles, that they don't stay in bus stops. You know, they drop people anywhere. And like if you say, oh wow, they don't even if anybody is in front of them, they just park and drop. We have some areas where there are infrastructural development was done to provide laybys, and they don't use it. And then you will see last mile officials standing and you see them, especially, let me give specific, the motorways bus stop. There's a massive gatehouse. That's where TVC used to be before. Massive lay-by that was built, but people will stop before the bridge, just before the pedestrian bridge, after, and they would enter it. And last mile officials are always there. So my question is it that last mile officials are not responsible? How do we ensure that bus drivers park in the proper way? Oronshoki also, the traffic in Oronshoki is simply caused by unruly bus drivers who do not enter into the bus stop to properly drop off passengers.
Okay, thank you very much. You're quite correct about the laybys. And laybys are built for buses or anyone that wants to drop somebody off, to drive in there, do your drop off, and then get back. But because of the behavioral pattern of people, it's not used for what it is. Interestingly, we've gone to do raids in different locations. Ojodu Beggar speaks to one. The Oworo you mentioned, coming down 3rd Mainland Bridge, if you see there, we have enforcement teams, we have LASMA, such that if we actually literally have to compel or push people to go in. And then, truth be told, they are complying. If you notice, the traffic coming down 3rd Mainland Bridge is not there anymore. Because they know that
even Alakbere has reduced. Those last mile guys are not playing. You have to enter that labor. If not,
beyond the last mile guys,
it's you. No, it's not. I'm not driving. My driver is there.
I know. I'm saying the yellow buses still drop at the you know where the signboard is. They drop there. When you want to turn into Magodo, that place there is the lay-by. They wouldn't enter into it. They will all block the road. And we see that happen. I wouldn't do that because if I do it, they'll come and meet me. But the yellow buses will just quickly do drop off and go, or pick up and go.
Beyond the last mile guys are there, we have the enforcement and task force that constantly go around. You know, I must also explain some things to you. It's difficult to enforce, for the last mile guys to enforce there, particularly if it's their location. Because if they do it once, 2 times, they can attack them. So it's best for our task force guys to go and support them. So they need to use a bit of emotional intelligence in dealing with these things, which is why you see some of them, we actually support them with policemen, task force to go, they go do the race. But like you rightly said, the enforcement is something that we're very big on, which is why we're not replicating or pushing out all the cameras at the same time. We're doing it gradually. Absolutely.
So we have to wrap up with you, but let me, on a final note, you know, so you told us where the cameras are, and gradually, I mean, it has been implemented, right? It has it's in effect already. So those of us that did 100 yesterday now, might get a
It'll be nice to have your money.
I made the camera didn't catch me because it was like after I'd done 100, I told like, where are there's speed limit now? I had to remind
you. You were enjoying the smooth road
because there's no road. I mean, there's public holiday.
So the road is really
free. They're going to tell me to do 80. Anyway, but thank you very much. I wanted to give final words to Lagosians concerning the policy, the act, and the fact that you will definitely apprehend people who violate the new speed limit laws.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say and reiterate is that the speed cameras are not punitive measures. They are meant to be for strictly safety. You know, safety does not reside with just one person. It's going to, whatever you do affects your next man. You know, it's, if one person is going to have an accident, it's just you, it's fine. It's not like it's the best we pray for, but it can affect, it can have ripple effect. So really, these cameras are for the safety of everyone. And I'm going to say that we should please comply, because if you don't, the fines will be set.
Okay, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. It was a pleasure having you.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You see some spoils.
That woman.
Damn!
Yeah,
Today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. Entertainment with pure entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Rice nourished you.
So, there is a small problem. Despite all the entertaining
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
Okay, that's
I
all we
leave
can
Nigeria,
take.
but I choose to
Ejek,
stay.
you close the show, you Fadala. Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show right now is the Irede Foundation. TIF was established back in 2012 by Crystal Chibo to educate Nigerians on congenital and acquired limb loss, how to associate with and care for children with this kind of loss. The foundation provides free and subsidized artificial limbs for children who cannot afford them. This weekend, their flagship walk will be coming up, christened Out on a Limb. Joining us on the show to speak further on this is the board secretary, Azubuike Chibu. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
I was asking, like, your view used to be part of this project from the beginning. We used to support your work. I know we've done it every single year.
Pillars, and it's centered around advocacy and awareness, to the society on just making sure that we find pathways for inclusion for persons with disabilities, especially children. That is our main focus for what we do in the Irede Foundation. And then just one, raise awareness; two, battle stigma. And then 3, try to raise funds, and then just also give these children a sense of being part of the society. It's a 2-kilometer walk, a very short walk that happens globally. In Nigeria, actually, this year we're targeting to have 10,000 people come out, walking across the 36 states of the Federation. So right now we're trying to do a mobilization, get people we call lead advocates and all to be, and then just pushing for people to register. And the idea for us is if you can find 10, 15 people wherever you are, come out
do the work.
and do the work. Yeah.
So I know that you had one last year, the 2024 edition. Can you walk us through the major highlights from that walk last year?
So the walk last year, I think I tried to remember the theme for last year, but part of what we did last year, that was actually where this idea came up to try to, because we saw pockets of people reaching out to us from across the globe. And interestingly, we kind of have now participation from the US and then from Europe. So that's where it spread, because mainly we used to focus on Nigeria, and not very much on what happens on the international scene. But last year, we also were pushing to get, I think, 300 children, limbs for 300 children and all that. So those are some of the things that we try to do.
This is really interesting, fantastic job so far. So, but I'm interested to know the backstory, the history, like what actually bettered this foundation, this amazing foundation.
Okay, so usually my wife does this. So this came out of a personal story, right? So my daughter, who is now a teenager here, she's now at that age where we cannot say how old she is. Well, some of you on this table, so she was born with a congenital issue where I think the medical term is tibia hemimelemia, where she was born without her tibia, and her kneecap was also missing. But it was the most difficult time of my life. I know how it goes when she was born. People said all sorts of things. Family said that is not in our family. All those things, and those are the things that go and meet bone setter, go and meet prayer man, prayer woman, the local people, all of that. All sorts of suggestions came into being. So, but ultimately, we had to come to terms with the fact that this is what we have to deal with, and sought medical and orthopedic support, and they told us, look, in fact, what made the decision for me was I had an orthopedic doctor. He's the president of he's a very senior orthopedic doctor who came in from the US, and he asked me one question. He said, would you rather walk your daughter down the aisle or have her on a wheelchair on her wedding day? And I said, sure, no father wants to be pushing the child on a wheelchair. So I'm like, I'd like to walk her down the aisle. And he was like, this is your pathway to it. So the decision was made. So, but in the process of our process, thank God we happy. And then this is kudos to Nigerian orthopedic system, because whereas we were given bills of, multiple thousands, in the US, it was basically the same process that we are going to do here in Nigeria. So ultimately we went to the orthopedic hospital in Enugu, and they did a perfect, wonderful job, amazing job they did there. And then, but in the process of our healing, sometimes you live in this bubble, you don't know, because you're so wrapped up in your pain, you don't see another person's side of it. So in that process, we now saw myriads of children with the same situation.
So in 13 years of Irede Foundation, how many limbs have you given to children?
So over 600.
Wow.
Yeah. Over 600.
That's huge. That's impact.
That's huge. Yeah, over 600 limbs so far. And
you have to replace them, because as they're growing older, the kids are growing, so you have to keep replacing the limbs.
Exactly, that's correct.
Wow.
And then it's birthed so many things, like we now have the Radiance comic that we're using to reach out to children in schools and all of that, to further expand the landscape of stigma management and all that.
So I have my question. For me, I feel that this is so important. I'm inspired by Pain to Purpose story, where people go through something personal and decide to be selfless, you know, and reach out to others. So this is amazing. Congratulations on the successes so far.
Thank you.
But aside, when you do the works, how do you raise the funds, and how do you get the support, and how can somebody watching now be inspired, as inspired as they are, support the initiative to get more limbs out?
Yeah, so the first thing is, whoever is watching now needs to just go on our website, theredefoundation.org, out on a limb, .com or .org or something, and then register for the walk. Let us know your location. Follow us on socials, and you ask about how we raise the funds. So it is actually we have these T-shirts, and people give towards producing these T-shirts, and occasionally we have organizations that come along and sponsor them, so, and it's actually like a mass effort, I want to gift one person, provide one person a T-shirt for the walk, and that's actually how
So for the walk on that's coming up this weekend, so once you register, you then show up. And where's the walk from what point to what point?
So for Lagos, we have different locations across the country. So for Lagos, our primary takeoff point is YMCA. And we walk to Falomor Bridge.
YMCA in Ikoyi?
Yeah, YMCA in Ikoyi. And then we take a turn, and then we return back to YMCA. So it's that 2-kilometer walk, because we have children also on in that process. Some of them also children living with limb loss. And
so let's just talk about a bit of on the emotional part of it. Let's talk about the impact that this has had so far, because the kids, to a large extent, are the recipients of all of this help and support. So how have you seen over the course of 13 years? Maybe you can share a human angle story with us, if anyone comes to mind.
Oh yeah, there are multiple, honestly. There are multiple.
That resonates really well.
Yeah, so two actually, a couple of them. And nothing beats the smile you see on the face of a child when they receive, when they are able to take that step. So, one of the first cases that made us have this decision was a child we met in Enugu. It was called to our attention. That's actually what birthed it. She was a double amputee.
How old was she at the time?
She was a baby, literally 1. Wow. Yeah. The sad part of that story is, at some point, the mental strain. The mom could not take it anymore and paid the ultimate price. But she's soldiered on with her dad. Right now, I think she's going to university, and we've been there, you know.
Supporting her from the beginning.
Yes, from the beginning. So because we, apart from limbs, at some point we had to take a decision that, look, it doesn't do to just give the limbs. So some of them we have had to come into education also to provide scholarships, you know. And right now we have over 40 children in scholarships. I think 3 of them are in university, have made it to the university right now. We have another one. This one is dear to my heart. I think she was, her mom, for some reason, I think they were going to take, she was rushing to school, you know, and somehow they got on a bike or something, and one of those things happened, and against that's, you know, and you know how a mother tries to beat herself, but we stepped in, and today she's grown, and till tomorrow all these children come for the walk, and she has the most lively spirits that you could ever imagine, you know. We had another one. Unfortunately, this one was quite sad because we couldn't help at that point. After she got her limb, she lost out to cancer. Yeah.
But let's talk about, because we have to wrap up with you very soon.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to what Chika said, the human angle, how does this make you feel? Because 600 limbs out there, do you have that, do you feel that you've done something? I mean, how gratifying is it for you?
It is gratifying. However, it's just that the story keeps expanding, you know, because the more you do, the more you see where the need, you know. This year, we have 400 children, 400 limbs waiting.
Wow.
You know, and it's been heightened a bit by the security events in the country. You know, where children have been impacted by some of these so we have to, there are challenges because you have to go to the north and all of these places where, and remote areas where you have this. So you hardly can catch a breath to celebrate because you see the next one.
We're wishing you the best. So the one is this weekend?
On the 12th.
On the 12th of April.
Yes, next weekend.
I thought it was this weekend.
No.
Starts what time?
It starts from 7 a.m. Because we want to, before the sun comes out. So 7 a.m. And
to get more information on your website.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
That's all we can take on this segment. Today is our health day, so we're discussing health. When we come back, we're bringing our doctor. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh yeah, Shaba, come and take your.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
At number 1, Unavailable by Adetoun featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, but do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym, though, you're getting fat.
Cricket.
She says she does show dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You see some spoils.
That woman.
Damn.
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's catch up now.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. TVC Entertainment.
Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Thanks for staying with us. World Autism Awareness Day is a global healthcare event celebrated on the 2nd of April every single year about the acceptance, support, and the inclusion of autistic people and for the advocacy of their rights. And theme for this year is advancing neurodiversity and the United Nations Sustainable Goal SDGs. Joining us on the show is an educational psychologist and international behavior analyst, Osezusi Bolodeoku. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
So, I mean, before you came on the show, we're talking about somebody who was advocating for those who are living without limbs, and you are now also advocating or part of educating about how to manage people living with autism. This is something we've discussed on the show several times. However, it's good to find out if there's new knowledge how to manage autism. But for those who have only heard about it or not sure, could you tell us exactly what is autism?
Okay, thank you so much. It's good to be here. So, what is autism? I would like to say it in a way that everybody can get. Right? Autism is a difference in the brain, in the neurotype. Right? We all have our brains, and we have how we look at the world. We look at the world differently. So an autistic individual has a brain that is extra sensitive, that looks at the world differently from the way you look at the world. And it can be presented in, practically can be presented in the way they communicate. For example, communication. We communicate vocally, we're talking right now. But for autistic individuals, communicating, because it's a social behavior, it's then a problem because they don't understand a lot of social nuances that we have, right? So also we look at the way they feel. Like those lights, for example, can be intolerable for someone that's autistic, or could be fascinating. It depends on either side. So, and when you see an autistic individual, bear in mind that you have actually only met one individual that is autistic, because there are no two that have the same features. So they are so different. Why one could be hypersensitive, the other is hyposensitive. One could have skills in arts and the other has skills in logical, things. And
so just speaking about this now, a very complex situation where you're saying that different people perceive the world differently and react to the environment differently.
Absolutely.
It then means that in catering and communicating to those people, we would also require complex solutions, complex perspectives on how we engage with them. How have you been able to, so far in your work as a psychologist, how have you been able to, curate different initiatives that cater to all of these complexities? Because just thinking about it, my mind is really blown.
Absolutely, it's really complex. It's fascinatingly complex. So, I'll talk about a strategy I use, and the strategy and our approach at the center is love, right? Yes, love sounds like, oh, it's love, yes. But let me break it down. So the L is we listen. We listen to the individuals. We listen to the individuality. This person is a person first and foremost, right? And then we observe. In listening, we're observing the person. We're observing their differences. We're observing their likes, their dislike, especially because I'm interested in working with the younger kids, and that's my area of competence. And the V is we value the difference. Once there's a difference, you value it. You understand that, okay, this is what it is, and that way we can then tailor treatment plans to fit those differences. And the E is my favorite, which is empathy. I mean, with empathy, all our issues in this world will be resolved, right? When we treat others the way we would like to be treated. So the E is the empathy, and I think that really just, because when we want to look at the technicalities of the treatments, it's very complex. As a behavior analyst, we use applied behavior analysis, which is the only scientific treatment plan that really works on behavior. So you use ABA for every human, not just autistic individuals. So you want to change a behavior, someone wants to stop smoking, they can use applied behavior analysis. It's just like simple techniques, behavioral techniques that you can measure, that is observable. You know, you can measure and see the changes.
All right.
So it's quite complex.
Nice. So how has it been also dealing with the emotional and psychological state of the parents of autistic children? Because most times you see that like people would usually say, oh, that it's not easy when a parent has a sick child. You know, it's also the child is the child, but then for the parents as an adult, it's usually hard and difficult for them to come to terms with that. How has it been working with the parents?
Okay, as a parent myself, I have a neurodivergent son, and oftentimes when a parent is given this diagnosis, right, they don't know what to do. They go through the process, they go through the grief part, they go through the denial. And what I would say, and what we say to support is, whereas we understand that it is, it's not something you called for, it's not something you like, it's not something pleasant, but you really have to wake up and take the bull by the horn. Like you really have to start working, because early intervention, it is not, when we say that it is very important, it is really highly essential and critical. Because when you start intervention as early as, say, 2 years, you'll be amazed the skills that your child would acquire and attain that would help them function in their immediate environment, you know. So early intervention is really key. It's heavy news to get diagnosis. Autistic diagnosis is not fun, but it is not the end of the world. It is not, it could be a gift, I mean, in disguise.
So an autistic young boy set the record, a Guinness record for the largest painting.
Yeah, I saw that today.
And for me, it was so apt that it could be used to say that being autistic isn't the end of the world, and parents can. But what's the statistics of autistic people that are on the autism spectrum being able to live a full life, you know, get married, have children? Have you seen people in that category? What's the percentage of people that are able to?
Absolutely. So it's good to say that I've worked with children that are now adults. Like when I started working with kids, the truth is, it depends on the quality of intervention they receive, and how early they receive the intervention. That's why we say it's very critical. You know, every individual comes into this time space, into this life with something to offer. So whether you're autistic, whether you're neurodivergent or neurotypical, you have something to offer. So if the parents are willing, or they take the bull by the horn and they start intervention early, I mean, there's a high chance that the child would be able to function. Right now we have children, we have an intern, autistic adult at the center. He works. He works at the center, he works with the other children. As a matter of fact, he protects the kids because he encourages them to do therapy, because he had ABA as well. He understands. So he's working. He came by himself from the United States to Nigeria by himself.
Wow.
It's an autistic.
That's progress.
That's progress.
So just for those of us who are very ignorant and are hearing neurodivergent for the first time, or neurotypical.
Yes.
So neurotypical is people like us, right?
Yeah, neurotypical is what we would refer to as normal.
Okay.
Yes, but we know that
Divergent
normal is a very
because I hear these new terms by psychology all the time. I mean, every time.
The neurodivergent is covers the umbrella of autism, ADHD, OCD, and all those neurological conditions and all that.
Okay, I think it's interesting.
And the movement is pretty much to discard or to
label
oppose,
people.
To oppose the notion that is a disease or is a sickness. Is a difference. It's a difference. So it's a different neurotype. So neurodiversity is the umbrella term, right?
Yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm happy that. I've heard that term several times. But I'm happy that you're here to enlighten us exactly what it is.
So that the umbrella term covers everybody, and we're different.
I'll be wrapping up with you in a few minutes because I wanted to just touch on what's that thing you'd advise parents who have about to walk the path you've walked, where they just found out their child is autistic, and how do they handle it?
Okay. So my advice to parents is stop crying. It's okay to cry. Stop crying and let's start work. The thing is, your child has a gift, a particular interest, and that gift will come in an interest. You have to find out what they're interested in, nurture their interest. Let them explore the environment. Use your plates, use your spoons, your mirrors at home to communicate with your child. Play with your child. A lot of floor time would be very beneficial. Play with your child and be very positive in your thinking. Surround yourself with the community, with the right community of all the mothers that have been able to achieve what you want to achieve. That's imperative.
Very important.
Right, it's very important. So it's not the end of the world. Your child will still grow up to be the individual that he or she is meant to be.
Let me ask, how old is your child?
He is going to be 12. He's a twin. Yeah, he's going to be 12.
Yeah,
And
so I saw something about, sorry, just to ask, because you say he's a twin. I saw a statistic where they say people who have this diversity, it's likely, if they're a twin, their twin is likely to have the same
well, it's, research says genetics, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if they're a twin, but most cases, we see that not the twins, not one of them would escape it, or one of them, So it's not cast. It's not cast in stone. No, it's not. It's
so
not.
your twin, one of them is neurodivergent and
the other one is neurotypical. Yes.
How does that chemistry work?
Well, okay, let me see what I did when my son was very young. I'm fortunate to work in a school that is inclusive as a classroom teacher. So when I saw my son wasn't meeting his developmental milestones, I started working immediately. I did whatever you call like just jammer, did everything, and but guess what? It did work because it was coming from a place of love, a mother's love, and a mother just wanting to help their child. And because of that, the inclusion in the home, it works really well. Everybody pretty much knows that, oh, we're different, I'm different from you, you're different from me, and we understand that. We look at our strengths. So it does work well.
Fantastic. Well, I may have to let you. I'm grateful to you because I was trying to see if I can get any comments for you. You said, could I please have your guest number? I have a family member, brother's son who has autism, but thankfully is receiving proper care and money. So you support people, right? When they're having this situation and they need help in guiding them on how to deal with it. So I guess we'll let people know that they can reach out to you. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. We know autism. But you were in giving an example of neurodivergent. You mentioned ADHD and you mentioned OCD. Now, we don't talk enough about this because they look neurotypical, but they have a lot of elements that people don't understand, and they struggle with understanding them. Right? For example, the OCD is over the top. Can you give us a bit of, I know that you came for autism awareness, but can you educate us a bit on ADHD and OCD?
Okay, ADHD is very interesting. My son has ADHD, by the way. So what the ADHD is saying is attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder. Though I really do not like the term deficit, right? But I mean, you can liken a typical ADHD's brain to that of a Ferrari on the hill without brakes. So the brain is always moving. The brain is always on the move, right? And the brain moves towards what they're interested in. And guess what? They're not interested in the classroom teacher talking. As far as they understand, the classroom teacher is yapping all the way. And they are looking through the windows. But guess what? They are even getting what the teacher is saying because they are focused on something else. It is that the dynamics of ADHD, the chemistry in it and all the hormones is really, it's crazy. It's really crazy, but it's something that when you look at the interest of the child and you ensure that the interest of the child is the reinforcing elements you use, you get the child to do more things instead of limiting them to just what they like. And what they like, they're usually great at it.
You reveal their true potential.
Yes, they're usually great at it.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. We appreciate you and wishing you the best, and hoping that people have learned from you and see what they can do to manage these neurodivergent situations.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all we can take on this show. We're speaking with Osezusi Bolodieko, who is an educational psychologist and international behavior analyst. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and for my jammies. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jammies.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, G Fadala.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1, Unavailable by Adetoun featuring Musiki.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say a recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym, though, you're getting fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they're for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree.
I think Adetoun, she had accosted a young woman, recorded her, posted a video showing her a struggling mother who took her 11-year-old daughter to her street sweeping job as early as 4 a.m., which she deemed inappropriate and child labor. Though the activist has taken a swift step to make amends, of course, she has apologized to the woman for doing a video about her. But I think it brings that question of, okay, should we, I mean, there are so many angles to this, and the reason why we're even talking about it is because we still have to expand on it much more after today's show. But it's interesting because we discussed intent, I think, yesterday, the intention of when people try to do good. Because what the Adetoun was trying to do was record her and say it is wrong for you to make a child sweep or come to work with you this early in the morning. On the other hand, the other woman is saying that I needed help. She's trying to help me because I have to do this job. I mean, I'm paid less than 20,000 naira for this job. And so people went on social media saying that many people actually went through this phase as children, helping their parents. You know, it's a phase in life. But the fact that she recorded and posted the child's face, there's so many parts of this story. We're just touching on it because, as I said, we're almost running out of time. But what are your thoughts about her apology and the fact that, you know, she apologized for bringing out the girl's face, obviously, to the public?
To be honest, my thoughts are, you see, when humanity happens, it happens, the best form of humanity often happens within closed doors. If, for instance, I walk into a person where I see that there is a need, and I'm truly in the moment of my heart gravitating towards that person to say, oh, there is a need, something isn't right here, and I'm in that mood of how can I help, how can I be humane towards this person, nothing else comes to mind about grabbing my phone to, I'm in the moment because I can see it, and my heart is aching. I'm compelled to say, what can I do? Oh, the only times when, in cases like this, I might be compelled to bring up my phone is, for instance, if I can see that truly a child is in harm's way and the caregiver or the parent is denying and negating what I am seeing, and the child is truly in harm's way, and this person is trying to maybe deny or actually block me trying to get this child help. That's the only time when you can say, okay, just because I need evidence to say, you molested this child, I saw it, and the person is denying and trying to, you know, prevent that child from getting help. That's the only time I can say, okay, I'm going to film you because I need people to see what's going on. That's the only time. But really and truly, you see a mother who has brought her child to work at 4 a.m. What comes to your mind first is, oh, when I see those streets, every time I pray for them in my heart, because sometimes I know we have mad drivers. Sometimes I see the women, they put their backside out a little bit, they don't even know, and they are sweeping at very early. Some people are driving mad. I pray for that, God, please protect these women. So that's what comes to my mind, not carrying my phone and video and record. I feel like it was totally out of place, but good thing that she's come out to now apologize. Just Adetoun, who is known for doing things like that. See, this is not the first. It's not even the first. And it makes me call to question her true intent when she does things like this, as a mother herself.
Okay.
Everything is content.
So for me, I totally agree with everything you've said, right? And it's so funny how you feel that you want to call somebody out for how they're raising their child. People bring their kids to work every day. You bring your kids to work, you bring your kids to work, you bring your kids to work to watch and see what's...
Not at 4 a.m.
No, everybody's work time is different, and people go to bed or wake up at different times, right?
Exactly.
And some people that their kids are in very far off schools, they wake up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. to get to school. Let's be realistic. And there's a public holiday, and they take your child to work there, and the work she's doing is this work, right? But in trying to be so fast to do video and put people out there, which I don't even understand why people are not minding their business these days. Then you're putting a child's face. You're even committing another offense by putting a child's face on social media. You've apologized for it, but that child's face, the harm has been done. The harm has been done. It's on social media. If you wanted to correct somebody, correct a mother, you're a woman yourself, your mother yourself, call her aside and just said, man, this, that. How do you need help? What's going on with you? But doing that.
So for me, it is a case of everybody, this new world of I'm traumatized, this is child abuse, this is child labor. I feel that sometimes we are losing that grit that people get built with. Because Deba would always say, my mom used to blend pepper, and all of us, we will blend pepper. one of my staff came to lament. My aunt runs a catering shop. Before coming to work, I have to help her to do some prepare the shop before I come to work. And on weekends, I am in the catering shop all through. I say, does this woman house you? Do you pay house rent? Do you eat for free in the house? So she slaves away running a catering business, and you see it, you're thinking I'll come and support you and say it's child labor because of what? No, you are supporting your auntie. Take it in good cause as a way of supporting your auntie, because she's also supporting you with free education, accommodation. Every other person she has spoken to about it felt like she's being abused. And you should let them understand that you are being, this is they are punishing you, they are victimizing you. I said this is training school. Because you might be working with me today and you travel somewhere else and your job will be in a massive kitchen and you have built experience here. So for me, I just felt like there was a rush to say this is child abuse and all of that, while we might be there are cases of abuse, but we are also not encouraging people to learn the reality of life and be supported.
I used to wake up early in the morning, fetch water, we used to do this. And was part of
we used to go to the stream, all those
so,
kind of things. But now, if you go to the stream, they say is your child.
So I think what could have been correct is if that child during school hours is doing that, then you have a legal ground, because there's a law that says a child during school hours must not be. But before 4:30, 4 a.m., it's not yet school hours, and maybe she's forced because she can't leave a child like that in the house. You have to follow her to work. So there are circumstances that could have led to what she saw. But my own issue was is the responsibility of ensuring that you don't have to always record everything and post. 100%. Even if you record, as Chika said, for evidence, you don't need to put that on social media.
No, but we know she's a content creator.
As if the woman
is her work. She's a content creator.
What I do now, the work that I do now, how did I start? At 12, my mommy used to take me to FRCN. My mommy used to work as a secretary in FRCN. Every time she's going to work on holiday, she would take me along, and I was so fascinated by studios. I would go and sit down in the studio and be looking. And that's how I became an intern during holidays. And here I am. My mommy used to sell akara at Express, Express, by the road. And we used to hawk clothes, and I did that too. That is where I got my business acumen from. So you
everything
never really
comes together.
Yes, full circle.
This person is a content creator, and for social media regulation,
this thing
we
just
need
said,
to get to the point.
This thing just said content creator is a whole day topic.
Yes.
Because content creator, we need a regulation, as you said, a framework on how
you can't just come to my face and
tell she called the spirit of Mohbad, and Mohbad spirit wanted to carry a handbag for her.
The prank content creators that they are always content creators. So there's got to be some kind of a framework to guide people on how to do it, because what's allowed and what is not allowed.
It's a hot topic for another day.
It's on social media without my permission.
We have to wrap up, but that's all we can take on this segment. But we just have to touch on it because it was important for us to, highlight it. It was pretty hot, and we had a lot of guests today, so we couldn't make it a full day hot topic. But that's all we can take on today's show. Hope you had a great time as we did. See you tomorrow. Bye for now. Bye.